now is a commercial fee that you pay where you autograph through and your post office stamps that and you autograph it as a postmaster. Now the post office and you are enjoiner for the transportation of cargo on board that vessel. And where's that vessel going? It's going into the port, which is a port, for negotiation of the contract, which is the cargo on the vessel. See? Does that clarify that?
I'm learning about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and hold on, just, well,
Yeah.
here's why no court on this planet can try a fact.
Okay, go ahead.
And we've put this demonstration on for every law enforcement agency out there on the
Yeah, we
planet.
did it for the FBI, and they didn't define FBI, so we called them fumbling, bumbling idiots.
Yeah, they appreciated that.
They had a good laugh.
They had a good laugh, and they agreed that we were
Yeah,
correct.
they agree.
In fact, every law enforcement agency out there says that we are 100% correct, and we do things in a humble manner. That's why we're here today. Okay, getting back to my point, and I will get to your question. Sorry. What do you guys see? Okay. What do you see? There we go. Can you put this pen on trial? It is the fact. You can only put the volition on trial. So I hope that the volition, you're thinking, we're all guilty, and we're guilty for thinking, whether we like it or not. We're guilty.
See, everybody's responsible for what they do.
Okay, we'll take a question. Sorry, bud. Sorry, Joe.
My request is like clarification of the positions of the flag again. Is that an international standard when it's suspended
Yes.
and when it's horizontal?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
yes.
And that's irregardless of the way the post hanging on the flag is hanging as well, right? So like if the post is horizontal and the flag is hanging, that's...
No, okay. The flag
that's what I want to get
free and
clarified here.
aloft. Excuse me. The flag must be free and aloft. It, it can't have anything above the standard. If it has a gold ball above the standard.
That's U.S. now.
No, that's everywhere on the
Is it
planet.
everywhere? I got to read some of this stuff.
You are
Yep.
they're recruiting for contract. That's why.
Yep.
Or you see a little round thing on the top of your Canadian post offices. They are actually.
It's at the schools too.
Yeah,
Yes.
They're actually recruiting
Yep.
for contract.
Many of your schools, say, have an ROTC program or something like that. If that would be the case, they'd have authorization to have that on the standard.
Joe, we got
It's just in front of the school, and it's obviously an invitation to contract. It's and we have the Canadian and the provincial flag in front, provincial flying a little lower. I asked the principal at my son's school why there was a cannonball on top of the flag designating it as a military zone after I corrected the paperwork. And they work with us now.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, because they know that you have knowledge.
See, awareness is so important. Nobody's aware of this, and so nothing is brought into compliance. Somebody has to step forward that becomes aware and then begins to correct and educate. See, we're educators. That's all we are.
That's all you guys are here. Every speaker that spoke is stepping forward, and he's doing his part to show that there is a problem here. And if we all work together, we can get something done, and that's why we're here. Oh, we still got Joe. Joe, shoot.
Order of precedence, right?
That's right. That is correct.
Just procedure. In Article 2 of the Universal Postal Union Rules, it designates a number of countries that they can interrupt the flow of mail. Once it's been posted, it belongs to the mail belongs to the post. So when you put a stamp on the Canadian stamp,
that is your post.
A bullet stamp on the Canadian $1 stamp. They have the right to stop any mail in transit, especially if it's an organic package, which you are. So how do you address that if they were to interrupt the flow of mail under the UPU guidelines?
I would disqualify for the UPU for fictitious conveyance of language, and I'd stay on point, correct their English, correct their oratory on the fly.
Okay.
Show me the law and the truth.
This lady, you got to come to the mic. Sorry
Yeah,
about
got to
that.
stay behind the speakers, Russ.
I know, but this, okay. This lady's been, sorry.
I just want to know, and I hope I know the answer here, have you been able to use your postmaster status going further than Canada or Mexico?
I haven't tried to get, in fact, his daughter is using it. She's 14, going to Mexico.
She's going to be leaving for Mexico shortly, so we're about to find out.
We're about to find out.
Good stuff.
And
Okay.
we're actually in the middle of a ordeal dealing with my IRS case that we have to travel globally for something. And so we're just about to find that out.
Excellent.
We came to Canada instead.
I'll tell you now how we became postal inspectors. This is real interesting. There's a little notice that was pinned up on the front door of our post office. And it was an advertisement for postal inspectors. Russell and I read it. He says, that's funny. The postal inspectors are supposed to be safeguarding us from mail fraud or any kind of criminal activity in the post office. I says, how can these people safeguard me from fraud when the very advertisement for the position is written in fraudulent language? Duh. Since in is a preposition, right, and you use it as a prefix, it's a particle of negation. So they're advertising for unspectors or not specters.
Impossible.
So what we did is we got the application. Now I've got a family, you know, and I've got a lot of guts, but I says, I don't know if I want to go there. And Russell says, well, let's try it, see what happens. And he did it first. And I figured, well, he's alone. He doesn't have as much at risk. Let's let him, you know, he tried it. So we took we got the applications, corrected them into the truth, and sent them on.
All over the planet.
Sent them on. Well, they never answered them. Now, here's the thing. They are written in a trust form. If they don't answer it in 10 days, they now have standing. If they haven't been answered or challenged, after 45 days, they become a valid trust.
And then we were summoned as postal-in-inspectors to come to federal court and witness a scenario that was going on. And when we got there, we took the certifieds of those, filed those also into the League of Nations and the UPU and all over the place.
We had a guy subpoena Russell for this case that he was talking about, and the clerk processed the subpoena, so now the fiction contracted with us and the truth
to
correct their fiction inside the well of the court. So what happens now is, because of the claim that we have as Unity-States of the America Postal-in-Inspectors, we now have authority inside the well of the court for correcting or enforcing claim. No one else has that position.
Needless to say, we don't get into the court too often. We have got to take classes. Sorry, sir. She's standing.
Regarding the suspended flag, when we were in Sumas, I assumed it was the courthouse. It was flying, the flag suspended. So was that a courthouse? Or was that a neutral
with
port?
Michael Bobbink?
Yeah.
Michael Bobbink is a little upset for this procedure because I beat him on a DUI about a year and a half before you got there.
What's a DUI for the people?
I was driving while under the influence. I was moving my car out of my...
He just moved his car from one parking spot to another.
At their instructions or no instructions. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I've
But,
seen...
excuse me,
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I didn't get an answer. Why was that flag suspended at the courthouse in
Because
Sumas?
they do not want to follow procedure.
They
Why do you think they do everything they do to you?
Okay, did they have any authority though?
No. Michael Bobbik has absolutely no authority whatsoever.
That's right. So, I mean, the person that was there going for trial by jury, I mean, he mentioned to the judge the flag
Michael
was...
Bobbink, I beat him with, I don't understand a foreign language. I don't understand a foreign language. I don't understand a foreign language. Sir, I don't understand a foreign language. You can go. I don't understand a foreign language. Stay on point.
Well, do all courthouses have their flags suspended?
Yes.
Oh.
It depends.
Depends on where you are.
It depends. See, the one I was at, this is the point that I make.
Depends on
The
who's
judge
coming to
was
court.
sitting on, the judge on my case, the one I gave you, that I told here, the judge was on the third plane, but she didn't have a flag on her plane. Even though there were two other flags on, there was a Title IV flag with fringe and an eagle on the common law plane. The one plane up, it had the Wyoming flag with fringe, but the spear was on that one. But on the third plane where the judge was seated, there was no flag. And so the trick is now, where do I have to go and how do I need to get there to achieve remedy with my contract? It's the key is that you have enough knowledge to lead the court or to take the court by force, if you must, to where you need to go. That totally is dependent on the judge or the condition of the court, because those vary. Because this judge that I was in, she knew exactly where I was at. She knew exactly that I knew, and I knew that she knew. And I so much told her in a way that could never be attached to me, I don't want to sue anybody if I don't have to.
Take a humble approach.
You see? And that judge read the doublespeak. You know, I don't want to sue you if I don't have to, but don't screw up. See?
Take a very humble approach, very honest approach. It'll do wonders for you, and so will those judges.
Could I ask one more question?
Sure, go ahead. Sorry.
Between the flag and the postage stamp, I would assume that the postage stamp is the authority.
No, the flag governs your contract.
Global
Isn't
law,
the flag advertisement?
You are putting the advertisement, or not the advertisement, yeah, the advertisement out for how your vessel will be run.
Okay,
And so
for
it
procedures.
It is the flag that governs your contract.
Yes.
Okay.
We've got this gentleman here standing. Sorry, sir.
I need to play the devil's advocate a bit here.
Shoot. That's what I want here
I've
for.
seen David Wynn-Miller on video.
Sure.
I didn't understand a word of it.
Sure.
I heard David Wynn-Miller on the Peter Warren show here in town. They cut him off after 20 minutes. Nobody in the studio, including Peter Warren, could understand a word that he was saying. I've been in court in Calgary, Alberta, on a number of occasions and have seen the application of the truth procedures. I have seen judges cut it off at the feet immediately. I've also seen judges suck it in for 2 days, 3 days, and then cut it off at the knees. I've never seen a David Wynn-Miller case perform with any merit or success.
That's why I'm here, sir.
The reason why that's happening is because they're obstructing it because of the danger. See, because here's the key. The technology we're sharing with you has the potential to put them out of business.
Sir,
I'm elderly. I'm in my late 60s.
Sure.
And for somebody such as myself to unlearn is maybe harder than to scratch. I am not pretending to understand 10%. I mean, the flags, the fringes, and yes, I understand jurisdiction, admiralty law, and a number of other situations around the truth position. But I've never seen it work, and I've watched it in 4 different cases, and one case has now gone to the international court, and I don't know that they're going to perform
I don't know
any.
if they're going to perform there either, sir.
Okay, and a judge controls his or her court, and his or her position rules the day. And as I've seen it, in the truth, just didn't perform. And I'm sorry, but I've watched it.
I'm not here to convince you.
Okay, but I have been in court and I have watched it.
Hey, I'm not here to convince anybody. Hey, if you don't want to believe me,
I don't.
that's fine.
No, it's not a matter
That's
of
fine.
not wanting. It's just I've seen it.
Sure, and we've seen it too. Trust. I know of nobody on this planet, except for myself and Gordon, that have won.
Well, I have seen my wife win.
Oh, your wife. Oh, yeah.
My
I
wife
forgot.
win.
Forget it.
And my other son. So I know of 4 of us that have won.
Okay, and this gentleman, I don't know of the people that have won. Personally, I haven't been out teaching people for a reason, because I'm concentrating as hard as I can.
Yes.
Because I'm not banking on Dave Miller, and I'm not banking on his language. I'm banking on me.
This is the first time we've really come forward. Go ahead. Russell and I have never come forward up until now, and because our position has been this. If we can't make it work for us, we're not going to put anybody else at risk. Secondly, if we can make it work for us, we can also teach others to make it work for them. That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here.
I don't know which 2 gentlemen were up, but I got...
Ian has precedence.
Shoot.
Thanks. My question, is this on? Yeah. My question is just, I've been in court, watched a couple things, and been involved myself in a few things, and a lot of times I don't see a flag, but the seal of the Queen.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, the question is, what authority and where that derives from, and what are the laws regarding seals versus flags?
Well, let me give you a scenario. We showed up at the Shucks case in Calgary, and I got into the bar, and the sheriff stepped to. And he said, "My name is B. Clawman." "Oh, I'm a judge." And I looked at him and I said, "Well, as a judge, I'm going to claim B as baby. So I guess you're baby Clawman." He goes, "You're getting smart with me?" Step two, and I step two. I said, "Sir, by what authority are you here?" And he shined his little badge up there, your little coat of arms. And I said, "Pal, it don't mean shit to me. I'm with the flag. You're in the Universal Postal Union's port. Get the hell out. Get off my back." And guess what he did? He got off my back. Well, then it made it tougher because they brought in all the goons. Yeah, I mean, so, maybe it wasn't such a good scenario in that position. The coat of arms has absolutely no authority whatsoever in that world, that port.
It does with respect to representing the Queen's interest, but
Queen,
that's
yes.
only if you accept it.
That's right. Offer acceptance compliance. Totally.
But it is an advertisement of the position because it's
and it's a good. I'm not here to bash it, but let's correct it.
It advertises the Order of the Garter.
That's right.
That's right.
Which is the family lineage.
Yeah, and so we're here to correct that and get it in compliance. Joe, sorry, Joe's been.
Next.
You deserve it. Go ahead.
If you go to get your paperwork stamped, right? You want them to sign off on the bottom. You want to stamp on it, but you don't want to take a receipt when you pay.
No, you don't.
Okay, so why would you take the stamp? Because it's based on a fictitious, allegedly fictitious authority. So the stamp in and of itself to give you joinder with the fiction would somehow negate or weaken your position, would it not?
But now you've got unity between two postmasters, and she can only give you a simulation of a signature or an initial, in meaning no initial, and you're with the AU with the authentication, with the authority of the autograph.
Right, so why would that be any different than taking the receipt?
Re means no. So like if you go to the bank, go ahead, Gordon.
The postmaster at the post office is only a subcontractor.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the postmaster at the court. Here's what's okay, I'm going to give you a little better scenario.
Well, we're talking about are we going to talk about both stamps, the bullet
clerks.
stamp and the clerks?
Okay. The clerks, yeah.
Okay,
We're going to talk.
let me give you the scenario, okay? And I think I've shared this with Joe the other day. If you have to ask someone if you're free, you're not. If you can't contract as a sovereign, you're not. Now, how does a sovereign contract? A sovereign contracts as a king. Okay? So the problem that most people have is this, and it's the question we posed right at the beginning. Who are you? Okay? If you don't know who you are, and it's very difficult, as the older gentleman was saying, you've got so much to unlearn because we've all been made subjects. Verb slaves is the word Russell and I use because that's what you are when you're in the verb position, because you don't have any authority to place a claim on anything because the language procedure you use hasn't any authority. Since when can a lie put a lien against the truth? See, the truth doesn't need any artificial support to support the claim. A fiction always needs all the artificial supports by whatever means to sustain the claim. Why do you think they got to bring in 10 goons? Because they have to have all the artificial support, whether it be fear, intimidation, coercion, by whatever means, to artificially support what they're doing.
It's good that they qualify us.
Now I want to get to his question. Here's the thing now. I wanted to lay that foundation so you understand what I'm trying to say.
I agree it's important that if we do go use a material that you should be qualified and you should be able to explain it in front of the judge.
Now, the reason why I wanted to lay that foundation so that people understand what I'm trying to tell you. A sovereign is responsible for all his paperwork, all aspects of it, okay? And since you're a sovereign, it's your autograph and your authorization that's ordering all the performance with your private charter because it's a private corporate instrument. It's a trust. That's why it's bound, okay? And I'm the creator of it. If I'm the creator of it, all the other parties that are engaged in it are all subcontractors in the sense, and I order all the performances with my authorization. Even if that postmaster over there uses a signature, my claim is superior because I'm the creator of the document. They are just a carrier. for a performance in their position as a fiduciary. And that's what they've contracted to be. And that's where the Universal Postal Union comes in, or the post office. They're actually a contractor in that position. They're there for a business performance. That's why you pay a fee when you go in. And when you pay the fee, it's a performance that they have offered to perform in that position. But who's got the final authority if you're a sovereign? We do. And since we do, we have to authorize that performance. And if we don't, and if we don't know how to do it, are we in fact sovereign? No. And that's the whole issue. This is what everybody's been having such serious trouble understanding.
You have to be compassionate. They know there's a problem.
I'm not having trouble understanding.
Yeah, you're catching it. We talked. He caught it.
But my question is, to clarify, if you're going to take the fiction stamp on your paperwork, are you doing so by accepting it under the authority and the provisions of the contract that you've put forth to subcontract with them to give them the authority to use a stamp that is substandard based on fiction law?
Good question. What? Don't give all those secrets.
Don't give them all. It's a good question.
What you're doing is you can come forth in an international scenario with two postmasters, as two postmasters, because you always need a two-witness rule. Don't go into court and do this alone. So it's kind of like a two-witness rule. Does that help, or no?
No.
Okay.
I understand two-witness rule, and actually, when you go to a class action, you require 5. So actually, I use 5 jurats.
Yeah.
Because I think 2 is insufficient with respect to how it relates to the authority in international law.
Sure.
But
the more the better.
The point is does the